The Trump administration on Friday began flying detained undocumented immigrants out of the U.S. aboard military cargo planes. Several flights carrying dozens of migrants out of Texas and Arizona arrived in Guatemala. The White House called it the official start of Mr. Trump's long-promised mass deportation campaign. This is going to make lives in the United States very difficult. Even some claim Americans are not citizens. The United States has changed its laws on migration. Mr. Trump said that you are not a citizen by birth anymore. This is another problem for pregnant women who are not legal. He said if mother or father have the permit to stay in the United States and have green card, you are qualified for it by birth.
The Trump administration announced today that it has started to fly migrants who entered the U.S. illegally out of the country using military planes. It's part of what the White House calls its mass deportation campaign. The administration posting this video here today of Marines operating at the southern border. And they're part of the 1,500 service members being deployed to assist Border Patrol. Derek Waller has the latest now on the deportation measures.
3 U.S. officials confirmed to CBS News that a U.S. military aircraft bound for Mexico this week, full of undocumented migrants, was denied entry. However, today, 2 other deportation flights did take off. Exclusive video obtained by CBS News shows migrants in shackles at a U.S. Army airfield in El Paso, Texas Friday, boarding a military cargo jet, one of 2 C-17s to depart the southern border carrying migrants and landing in Guatemala Friday morning.
Deportation's going very well. We're getting the bad, hard criminals out.
The White House calling it the official start of their mass deportation campaign. But immigration attorney Sophia Genovese has her doubts.
The deportation flight from El Paso today was carrying 75 to 80 people. An ICE air flight to Guatemala routinely carries up to 150 people or more. I think sometimes it's a show, right? To show that they're doing something, playing things up in the media.
ICE agents arrested 538 undocumented migrants Thursday nationwide, topping the average of 312 arrests a day during the Biden administration. And it includes 373 alleged criminal detainees. In New York, there's fear ICE raids could target churches and schools. At St. John the Divine Church Friday, reverends, rabbis, and imams stood together in defiance.
I don't think we can practice our Christianity without being able to provide safety to the people who come to practice and to worship with us.
When this actually happens, when this whole mass deportation is rolled out, what is that going to look like?
That's a great question that we're all trying to wrap our heads around. We already know that the expedited removal process will be weaponized so that people are deported swiftly without access to due process.
Genovese also pointing out there is currently a federal hiring freeze, saying they are going to need to staff up dramatically if they plan on escalating deportations. I'm Derek Waller, CBS News, New York.
Major developments on immigration just days after President Trump declared an emergency at the southern border. A military buildup underway. The first of some 1,500 active duty troops have arrived. Marines from Camp Pendleton arriving with heavy equipment and Osprey aircraft. And for the first time, military planes are making deportation flights. This C-17 at Fort Bliss, Texas. Migrants in restraint seen boarding a flight to Guatemala. A new image from inside another flight taking off from Tucson, Arizona. Meantime, the administration saying that arrests are ramping up. More than 500 undocumented migrants arrested in multiple cities over the last 24 hours. And tonight, the president's new border czar, Tom Homan, saying this is only the beginning. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz leads us off tonight.
Tonight, for the first time, U.S. military aircraft flying undocumented migrants out of the country as President Donald Trump launches his deportation campaign. The White House releasing these pictures, dozens of migrants in chains boarding C-17 aircraft. The flights landing in Guatemala carrying roughly 160 people, men and women.
Deportation's going very well.
Today, the Trump administration's new border czar, Tom Homan, telling me it's only the beginning.
Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes.
This as the military buildup on the border escalates. 1,500 active duty personnel, Army and Marines deploying. Their mission to support enhanced detection and monitoring efforts and repair and replace physical barriers. ABC's Matt Rivers on the ground in San Diego.
So right now these Marines are offloading concertina wire. They're going to bring it right down to the border to reinforce it. It's clearly meant to be a deterrent against future migration. And these kinds of supply flights, we might see a lot more of them over the coming months.
Far from the border, ICE raids and arrests in cities across the country in the days since the president was sworn in, some of them likely long planned, but a clear sign of what's to come. Boston, New York, and Newark, New Jersey. Newark's mayor saying agents raided a small business without a warrant, detaining American citizens in the process.
People were fingerprinted. Pictures of their IDs and face were taken there. When I got this information, I was appalled.
The Trump administration releasing numbers showing 538 arrests over the past 24 hours. The White House saying they're initially targeting undocumented immigrants who have committed violent crimes. But Homan acknowledges not everyone swept up in the raids fits that profile. And he has a stark warning to anyone who's in the country illegally.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes, but you're going to see the number steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population.
So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge should leave.
Homan was very clear that those committing violent crimes will be deported first, and acknowledges that the show of force, these strong warnings to all undocumented immigrants, are meant to send a message that they should self-deport, since it would take a very long time and massive amounts of manpower and money to deport an estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants. Whit?
Martha Raddatz, thank you.